Alrighty, are we live?
I'm also going to test for sound because
Oh yeah, that'll
hey,
happen sometimes.
last week it was last week we had a sound issue, but I'm going to make sure that we are live and I can hear us. There we go. Perfect. We're
Heck
good.
yeah.
We sound check is checked.
Alright. People of Earth, we're back. Episode 29 of the podcast. We've got Dr. G in the building. She's a Temple sports management professor, LeBron enthusiast, knows ball. And we were going to strictly talk basketball today, but there's been some other news swirling around the sports world and some other stuff I just want to talk about. So yeah, we're going to go all over the place today. But Dr. G, how you feeling?
I am incredible. I'm so excited that y'all are having me. Taff, thank you. Phil, thank you. I'm so excited.
Heck yeah. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time. We appreciate it as well.
Of course, we're going to have a blast.
Indeed. So, basically, one thing I like to start the podcast off with, we did an episode yesterday. The opening segment, it's called Small Victories. It's the small victory of the week. Mine was, dude, it finally feels like summer, and I got a watermelon yesterday, and it was a good freaking watermelon. So that's my small victory of the week. So what's yours?
Fine. I think I'll do my small victory of the weekend. Does it have to be like Monday? Does it have to be starting Monday or can it be like Sunday?
It can be
whenever.
Well, I saw the greatest entertainer of all time, Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter, 3 times this past weekend. So I'm feeling fantastic. I can run through a brick wall if I really wanted to put my into it. So I'm good.
Hell yeah! You saw her 3 times in this weekend alone.
I sure did. Sure did.
How did that happen? How'd you get that lucky?
Yeah. Well, this is a story.
Oh no, people just don't know they have to be patient. They have to be patient. I know the game. As I'm a LeBron enthusiast, I'm also a Beyonce enthusiast, so I know how it works. So I just waited out and get an affordable ticket, and I am always in the building, so it's great.
Heck yeah. I remember you were, that's far from just your first 3 Beyonce shows that you've been to, too, right?
Yeah, I've been to one, two, three. It's maybe like my 5th Beyonce tour. So I don't know how many times I've seen her at this point, but this is my 5th Beyonce tour, so not a problem.
Hell yeah.
On lock.
That's how I am with Kendrick. But
Did you go see Kendrick when he was in Philly?
I didn't actually. I didn't get to see him on the GNX tour. I want to, but those prices are just insane, man.
Yeah, I know.
But I got to see him twice on the Mr. Morale tour, and dude, oh my gosh, he's just so good.
Oh yeah, incredible. What about you, Phil?
For me, I guess my small victory, because when we did it the other day, I was like, dang, today was kind of like, I didn't have really a small victory. I had to go get my car fixed, found out it was going to be $800. I come back to my place when I went out, because I was at my parents', I was like, hey, you know what? I'll do a little bit of laundry while I'm there. I went and brought my pillows there and didn't bring my pillows back. So I haven't had a pillow the last couple days to sleep on. So I'm like, you know what? It's been tough, but that means that when that small victory comes up, it's going to be even big. It's going to be a slightly bigger victory.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's what I'm hoping for.
And you were saying you had car troubles and stuff, so yeah, man. But when those small victories come, you're going to be balling.
Exactly. They're going to be medium-sized victories instead of small.
Exactly. They're going to be all better. Another thing, before we get into the great New York Knicks that I love so much, I've got a question for y'all.
The great New York Knicks.
Yeah, I like to ask a question to really kick things off. Are Pop-Tarts ravioli? I was talking about this with my mom earlier.
What?
I feel like they are ravioli, low key.
Explain.
Because,
Yeah.
alright, so, obviously, you got the feeling, but here's what really puts it into ravioli territory. It's so carb heavy. It's bready, like spaghetti, and also, arguably, it's more versatile than spaghetti. I think, if you have Spaghetti for breakfast, that makes no sense. Pop-Tart for breakfast, yeah, easy, boom. I think a Pop-Tart for dinner makes more sense than spaghetti for breakfast. The versatility, it's in ravioli territory, I think.
Huh.
I see the connection. The structure of a Pop Tart and the structure of ravioli, they are similar in some ways. And I think you're trying to say a Pop Tart is more flexible than ravioli. I think you're trying to. It's much more flexible. I think so. I agree with you there. But is a Pop Tart ravioli? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I feel like this is like is hot dog a sandwich question. Like it's just an alternate version. I gotta agree with Dr. G. I don't think it's ravioli at all. Because like with a Pop-Tart, it's like bread and then it's like a little filling. When I think of ravioli, I think of ravioli got like food. Like you're talking meat, you're talking cheese, you're usually talking like some sort of vegetable. Pop-Tart's just like I guess a goo. I don't know what I would call it other than a goo, like a filling. So I don't know. And there used to be this like whole debate about is a hot dog a sandwich, and it was broken down in all the different ways, like any carb related or like starch related material envelops food, and it's got different names. Like a hot dog isn't a sandwich; it's more of like a taco. Like a hot dog's closer to a taco because of, or like a burrito, or like there was something I gotta find.
You know, I feel like I've got the time today. A hot dog is a sandwich. I'm pretty because like a taco is a sandwich too, right?
No, it's taco.
Not a sandwich.
A taco's not a. But when we talk about what a sandwich is, okay, you got the bread. It's between. It's sandwiching. It's encasing whatever that is, whether it's a peanut butter and jelly or ground beef or turkey or whatever. Aren't a hot dog and a taco and a sandwich all functionally doing the same thing?
They're doing it differently though. Like I think that's what separates them from each other. Is that the way they're created. Because then in that case, anything that just has bread and is touching anything is a sandwich. So like if I'm saying I'm eating like pasta, I could also just say, oh, I'm eating sandwich strings, but like without the meat.
But
you know,
no,
like I
spaghetti,
could break it down that way.
Pasta is not bread in itself, though. It's different. I don't know what the process is. I've never made pasta.
I don't know. I think it's just like you got. Like, see, I'm looking at the cube rule of food identification right now.
Well, we got this down to a science.
Where it is. So, if anything, according to this, if there's no like starch content at all, it's considered a salad. If it's only starch on the bottom, it's like a type of toast. If there's starch on the top and the bottom, that is a sandwich. If there's starch on the bottom and the sides, that's taco. Those are two different things.
You know, that's...
And then sushi's like when it's wrapped all the way around.
That's very technical, and I feel like I can't argue with the science that they built. But...
Well, it's on Facebook, so clearly it's accurate science. I don't know what to tell you.
From a functional standpoint, I don't know. I feel like if the bread is encasing something, it's a sandwich.
Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree, I guess. But
That's a tough argument.
Dr. G, where do you stand on that?
It's a tough argument. It's a really tough argument because half you make great points. Then also, I agree with it. I just don't like this idea that we're trying to place everything in one category. A taco's a taco, a hot dog's a hot dog, and a sandwich is a sandwich. Ravioli is ravioli, Pop-Tart is a Pop-Tart. You know, I just want them to be what God created them to be.
Exactly.
That is true. They do deserve the chance to stand on their own, I think.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the same thing. Like,
they are strong enough foods to stand alone.
That's exactly. A fact. We'll say they're cousins of sorts.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with cousins.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
Because think about it, like, I was thinking, because try to analogy this to sports is like, let's say we've got, right now, like, Anthony Edwards, people are trying to call him the next Michael Jordan. No, he's Anthony Edwards. he's not a sandwich, he's a taco.
Exactly.
Or he's not a sandwich, he's a Pop-Tart. Let him be a Pop-Tart, man.
Exactly. I like that. I like that. Now, speaking of, what do we want to get to first? Because there was some other headline with the NFL today. It was the Tush Push vote, and I don't know. It was like the NFL rules voting. I didn't get to look at the whole thing, but Phil, I remember we were arguing about this a few weeks ago because I was arguing for the Tush Push to stay. Did you want the Tush Push to be banned?
Me personally, I'm a viewer of the NFL. I see no problem with tush push. All of the complaints were like, it's the main one was high injury rate, which I just didn't believe because there's going to be big collisions in the NFL anyway. Like every play is a collision, guys diving to the offensive line. I don't think it was a high injury risk play. I think a lot of now from if you're a team wanting it banned, I guess that makes sense because you're like, we can't do that. We're not good at it, so you can't do it anymore. That is like, all right, like figure out something that you are good at. And it's like you don't have to do the tush push. You can come up with something else that you can be good at. I think it's fine that Philly has their own thing. I get why the teams voted the way they did. There were reports, I want to say like 6 hours before the voting came out, that it was going to be banned. And that, like, a lot of teams were leaning in favor. And then it was actually more of a surprise that tush push to not get banned. So, I mean, maybe some teams, changed their mind at the last second. But I think it's good that it's here. I don't think it's game breaking as much as people say it is.
Yeah. Dr. G, what do you think?
Well, obviously, as an Eagles fan, I'm happy. I'm happy that the rules did change. But knowing how political the NFL is, I am very shocked that they didn't ban it. I am shocked at this vote, and I'm really interested to see the behind the scenes or know the behind the scenes of how they got to this point of them pretty much saying no. Was saying no, it won't be banned. So yeah, no, I love. Obviously, I love the tush push because we're good at it. It just sounded like this idea of banning it was just teams mad. I think Philip said it. We're not good at it. We need to ban it. I think that's kind of a lousy way to go about things.
For sure. And when you mentioned the political aspect of the NFL and the tush push, I mean, I didn't really have an expectation or a prediction going into what the outcome of the vote was going to be, but there were only 2 votes shy of what was the tush push being banned. When you mentioned the political aspect of that, what do you think of?
I think of teams not wanting one team to be superior than other teams in an area. And so understanding how, for example, I felt like all of the teams would come together and say, hey, let's make sure that we vote against this tush push to make sure that the Eagles don't prosper, seeing that they are the defending champs and they are the greatest at it. And none of us have been able to figure out how to be successful in this area. And so that's what I thought about them coming together as one, because the owners, they're in one circle. So I thought they would come together to try to talk about it. But it seems like, that's not what happened. And that's just a shocker because everything is about winning. Everything is about revenue. So I really want to know, was there any behind the scenes payoffs? Like my mind was racing. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah, that is interesting. Honestly, good on the owners still 22 of them voted for it to be banned. Yeah. So I guess we put that lightly, but good on the owners. Good for the other 9 owners than the Eagles for voting. Because I feel like a common theme with a lot of the rule changes in the NFL lately have been they're sort of stripping the creativity from the game in certain aspects. I mean, I remember we did the podcast assignment and we were talking about the kickoff rules, and you need to announce an onside kick now. Pretty sure you can only do it in the final 5 minutes of the game, or is it the fourth quarter?
I think it's like only fourth quarter, and I think the score needs to be like a certain possession of how close it is. I think it's definitely a fourth quarter play, but they've definitely changed those rules to make it an onside kick basically impossible. Like you can't surprise onside. You can't even move. Like normally before, kickoffs was guys can start moving before the ball is kicked. Now it's you can only move until the ball is kicked. So you're stationary, and you have to actually, instead of being already accelerating to get to those 10 yards, you got to start at zero velocity and then get to the 10 yards, try to get to the ball, and it's just never gonna work.
Yeah. See, like I feel like a prime example of why that rule shouldn't be in place or it shouldn't be working the way it is. I feel like, everything they do, they like nowadays in the NFL with all the changes, they root it in safety. But let's look at Nick Saban's kind of psycho onside kick call. I'm pretty sure it was with like 10 minutes left in the third quarter in the national championship against Clemson. Pretty sure Alabama just went up a touchdown, and they do the surprise onside. They get it. That's just brilliant. That belongs in the game.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
100%.
agree. That's my primary issue as well. Because we talk about the quality of a game, creativity and the shock factor, and I think I hate the rule. I just want to say I've hated that rule ever since it's been in place. So I agree with you 1,000%. I'm sure I'm gonna disagree with you at some point today, Tav and Phil, but I agree with you all in this area. Completely bad for the game, I think.
Indeed. I'm with you. But who knows? Maybe they'll change it. But right now, we got bigger fish to fry. And that's the NBA playoffs, man. Phil's been hearing an earful from me about the Knicks, man. I don't stop. And oh my gosh, Jalen Brunson, it was so funny. I have indoctrinated some Philadelphians to the New York Knicks fandom. And so
Wow.
yeah. And after a couple of the big Knicks wins, game 1 and game 2, I called Phil up, and it was just go New York, go chants. And man, I'm fired up.
Hold on, man.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you the story real quick about that, because when you called me the second time after they beat the Celtics, I was playing video games with a couple people at the time. I had the game up, and I was like, they're down 20. They're not gonna come back again. Turn it off. I come back, and the game's like, oh my gosh, they won. They won by 1 point, and Mikal Bridges made a great defensive play. 5 seconds. Literally 5 seconds later, I get a call from him. I'm like, dude. Also, he's out like with friends. I'm home. I got like a gray shirt on and gray sweatpants. He then FaceTimes me. I pick it up, and I got 5 or 6 Philadelphians on a couch, just with the zoom out camera, just going, "Go New York, go New York, go!" And I was like, I was, man, how did this happen?
Beautiful time. And,
I had no idea you were such a Knicks super fan. I had no idea.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, this is a whole nother conversation that's kind of in the same vein of the NFL rule changes. I wish there were less games in the NBA regular season, because honestly, I just can't keep up. This season, I was watching way more college basketball. I was representing Temple in Mississippi State because I have a lot of family that has gone there. But yeah, man, once the playoffs roll around, once we get in that home stretch, I'm Knicks all the way.
Oh, I love that. I'm not, but I don't hate them. So I think that's good enough.
Indeed, that is good enough. And I know you went to Tennessee. Are you a Sixers fan too, or you're a LeBron fan?
Exactly. Let me just set the record straight and get it right now. I am absolutely not a Sixers fan. Never was, never will be. So I loved Allen Iverson for what that was, but that ship has sailed. Okay. Back when I was growing up, I grew up in Chicago, and my grandmother that was an avid Lakers fan. So she would go to Bulls versus Lakers game and root against Michael Jordan. Like, it was that serious. She was very much so.
Damn.
So I grew up as somewhat of a Lakers fan. But then as I got older, I found out about LeBron James, and I've been a LeBron fan ever since. So what that entails is wherever he goes, I go. Okay, so I have been a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. I have been a Miami Heat fan. I am now a Los Angeles Lakers fan. If he goes to the New York Knicks next, I will be a Knicks fan. But right now, I am a fan of the Lakers momentarily. We can talk about this later, but I want him to go, but I'll just leave it there.
You want him to leave the Lakers?
I know it's not going to happen, but I do.
I feel like, we could so like, yeah, I feel like the fit with Luka is weird. I mean, how much time do you think he even has left in the league?
You know, in some ways I can be a little delusional in that area, but I think he has at least 3 years. I know it's crazy to say, but I think he has at least 3 years. I do. And most people are saying 2, but I feel like he could give us a third. I need to look it up, but whenever his son is set, Bryce, to come get in the league, that's when I think he'll begin to leave. But LeBron talked about when he would leave, and he said, when I'm no longer excited about preparing for the season, then I'm going to leave.
Okay.
And the guy he's a complete athlete. I think he's fine. He looked great last season until he got injured. I think he still has a lot of gas in the tank, but I think it heavily depends on where he's playing. So, yeah, no, I think he has a little bit of time left, but the Lakers organization, they have just mishandled the end of his career, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't really see a time where LeBron isn't excited about preparing for the season. I mean, the guy's been in the league for more than half of his life, and yeah, when you mentioned them mishandling the end of LeBron's career, yeah, organizationally his whole time with the Lakers has been so weird. He's seen like 3 different eras of Lakers rosters, I guess, over the past, 6 years?
Mm-hmm.
Like, first it was Lonzo and Brandon Ingram, and I think even Josh Hart was still on the team at the time. And then you go into that Anthony Davis era. People are talking about bringing in Paul George or DeMar DeRozan. That doesn't happen. And then they move off of Anthony Davis again. Was Lonzo still on the team when they won the championship?
No, he wasn't on that championship team.
Okay, so AD was on the team by then. I don't know, man. I want to see Luka and LeBron work. I think that would be sick if they could figure it out. But I think, well, the interesting thing with it is this. I feel like you're going to have something interesting to say about the thing as a whole. Oh no, we lost her.
No, what happened?
Oh, you're back.
Are we back?
I don't know what happened.
Oh, that's all good.
Discord is like that.
Yeah, that'll happen sometimes.
Okay.
So yeah, just if you hit the little camera button in the bottom left, you'll be right back.
There we go. Perfect.
There we go. But yeah,
Easy.
like we were saying about like the Lakers organizationally, with LeBron and Luka coexisting. I mean, LeBron, the reason I think LeBron is so great is because, I mean, other than him being an absolute freak of nature and just generally all around really good, is that he makes the guys around him better. But this seems like the first time where LeBron might not be the best player on his team anymore. And also, you kind of, even though I look at Luka and LeBron as both ball distributors, you need the ball in your hands to get rid of it. So I don't know. Like, do you think there's any way that this works? What do you think needs to happen?
So when the trade first happened, I was incredibly upset. Just as a LeBron fan, I understand why the Lakers organization did it. I think it's great for the Lakers organization. But as a LeBron fan, I didn't like it due to the fit. I think it's a bad fit because throughout LeBron's career, I know what it takes for him to win a championship. I know what the pieces should look like around him.
Mm-hmm.
And Luka isn't it. And so I was upset, and I immediately just bashed it, saying it won't work. I still feel that way. However, I said it without recognizing LeBron's greatest strength. And yes, I think LeBron makes his teammates better, but I also think LeBron has been brilliant to adjusting to whatever the game has presented. And so LeBron has played through a whole lot of different basketball eras. So what basketball was in 2003 is not what basketball is in 2025.
No, not at
And he's
all.
flourished in every single era. And so I think LeBron can adjust in this new role. However, I don't think it's a team that LeBron is going to be successful in. So in terms of what will it take for it to work? Well, number one, if this is Luka's team, he needs to act like it. I understand he was only there for the second half of the season. However, and I know you said that this is the first time where LeBron is not the best player on his team, but some nights he was. Many nights he was. And Luka didn't play well. And that was the biggest issue with AD. LeBron was trying to give the keys to AD for 2, 3, however many years, and he just wouldn't take them. So, first things first, I need to see Luka actually take the keys and be the alpha. Because in my opinion, I think LeBron was still the alpha of that team. So let's see in this next season if Luka can be the alpha. So if this is going to be Luka's team, Luka has to be the alpha. Okay, I want to see LeBron in off-ball actions. I think the coaching has to be incredible. But then also I think as Laker Nation always, we've been crying for this for the past 2-3 years, and it's ultimately, who knows, it may be what got AD traded. We need a center. A legitimate center.
Yeah.
When I say I know the pieces LeBron needs to succeed, it involves a center and shooters. That's it. If you look at every single team LeBron has won on, he's had centers, and I don't even say this center does not have to be all-stars. We've had Joel Anthony. I don't know if you know who Joel Anthony is.
Oh yeah. Number 50 on the Heat, man.
On the Heat. Zadrunas Ilgauskas. Okay, all the way down to Dwight Howard. So he hasn't had incredible centers. We just need a big. We just need a legit big. So we can get a legit big. A couple of them actually at this point, since AD is gone, and some shooters around him, and some guards that can actually defend. Because as much as I love Luka, as much as I love Austin Reeves, they were food on defense. And so that just cannot work, especially with all of these great guards in the league now, like Shea. We'll talk about him in a second.
Yeah.
And Anthony Edwards and Jalen Brunson, you have to have somebody who can defend. And so I think it'll take a lot, but I'm still not sold on it working because I know what LeBron needs to win. And that's why I said they have mismanaged the end of his career, because he's been saying what he's needed. And even Anthony Davis, and they have not given it to them.
Yeah.
So that's my issue.
Yeah, when you mentioned that the Lakers need a center, it made me think of this song. Or this little bit from years ago. You know, like the "Where the hell are you? The Lakers need a center."
Dude, I also remember the what was the SNL bit when they were in the finals, when it's like it was like Childish Gambino and Pete Davidson. It's like, when LeBron hits the free throw, I'm right there with the high five. There you go, LeBron.
That is true. On that team, LeBron did. Wait, did LeBron? I mean, he had Kevin Love. I don't know. I can't remember the center on that roster, but
Was it Tristan Thompson?
Tristan Thompson.
Yeah.
And one thing we were talking about the other night was, because man, before I became a Knicks fan, I was a LeBron fan. So I still, in my heart, I root for LeBron. I want him to ride off into the sunset with a 5th ring. And we were talking like, if Mark Williams didn't fail his physical coming from Charlotte, oh my gosh. I mean, it's nothing but hypotheticals from that point on, but oh my gosh, you gotta wonder what the Lakers would have looked like with him on the roster.
And that's still a conspiracy, because he failed his physical, but then he finished up the season looking fantastic. So I'm not sure if everybody was being truthful there. I think it was because the way it even rolled out, Tav, like, I don't know if you remember the announcement, the way it rolled out was shady. So I don't know what was happening, but I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, let me see them with a legitimate center before I can make a real decision. But it's hard for me to see it working because I haven't seen LeBron win in any other formula.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't remember the details of how it rolled out. I just really remember the trade going through and being like, wow, the Lakers are suddenly set up to be really good now that they have Mark Williams. And then a couple hours later or a day later, I just heard that he failed his physical or something, which did feel kind of, the rhythm of that was weird, but.
I've never experienced anything like that. That's why the sports world was kind of shocked.
Yeah.
There was the other thing to mention too, to me about the Lakers, and this I know they won a championship in the bubble and all that with LeBron. One thing I've felt really ever since towards the end of the Kobe era is that they have just not really been well run, I think, as a franchise overall. Because even in just the LeBron era, he's gone through there's been multiple different coaches in the era. It's just I don't know. I can't really exactly put my finger on what's going wrong exactly, but ever since then in that Kobe era, it's been 10 years that I feel like despite them getting a championship, they felt a little mismanaged. They felt like they are either they consistently over-evaluate a lot of the talent they have when trying to build these teams, whether it was with LeBron in between the time where Kobe retired and then they end up getting him, and then even now afterwards. It just feels like a bizarre misevaluation of talent that has been going on for a decade, and I feel like there could be a lot more there. They're leaving a lot of meat on the bone in terms of the guys that they're getting and the guys that they're looking to go out and add.
Philip, I agree with you. Because I think at the end of the day, I don't think the front office knows ball. I don't think they know ball. I don't, because I know this may be minimal and minuscule to y'all, but I think one of the worst trades they made was that Zubac trade. I thought Zubac was fantastic.
What was the Zubac trade?
He's a center for the Clippers. I forgot who we got for him, but it was a bag of chips. Like Zubac. Was that the Russell trade? That may have been the Westbrook. I can't remember.
Now you mentioned it. I think it was Russ and Zubac for. Yeah. I don't even remember.
It was like Mike Muscala, I think.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. And so in between that Zubac trade and then getting Russell Westbrook, which is arguably LeBron's fault, they're saying that he wanted them, whatever. Two horrible trades that really messed up what LeBron was trying to do. So yeah, I'm very upset with them. I agree. The front office, they just don't know ball.
Yeah,
especially when you're watching Zubac against Jokic and that first series to get with between the Clippers and the Nuggets. I think part of the reason that was a 7-game series at all was because of the defensive work Zubac was doing against Jokic on the floor.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And with I don't know, I just don't know why you trade for Mike Muscala. No disrespect to Mike Muscala, but this guy, I remember in 2015, it felt like the guy has been 31 years old for 8 years. You know what I'm saying? It's just he had plateaued. And Zubac, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they just don't know ball. Is it Yeah. But yeah, also today SGA won MVP, which I guess isn't much of a shock. I'm not a huge fan because people call Brunson a foul baiter. SGA, it's bad, man. And honestly, I remember James Harden. He's not the player he used to be. But I remember when I first really started to notice the foul baiting, it was in James Harden and Trae Young, and that, honestly, I feel like I don't notice it as much as I used to. I think it's still pretty bad, the foul baiting, but I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. But yeah, with SGA, I'm sure we've all seen the memes where this guy is making the most exasperated face when nobody's making contact with the guy at all. But yeah, I gotta look up his averages real quick, because you can't give it to Jokic for a third year in a row, right? Or can you?
No.
I mean, I feel like, I don't know. To me, it's weird because the MVP, and I feel like this is a problem across all leagues, in my opinion, that the MVP is often the best player on the best team. And that's not necessarily what I equate to being the most valuable on your team. SGA is incredible, but if you watch the playoffs this year, and obviously, they do this voting beforehand, but if you watch the playoffs and watch, man, this Nuggets team, without Jokic, I mean, they might finally be able to have the number one pick in the lottery, which I guess they never had. I found that out recently that they had never had the number one pick in the lottery. Maybe they have. I don't. I had like a couple teams confused.
I don't remember a time where they had it. So
yeah, but my point though is it's just you watch Jokic. Without Jokic, that series is so much worse than it is. They don't even advance to round one. And this was a team that a week before the postseason was like, GM, coach, gone. We're making a change. And they took the best, I think the pound for pound overall, the best roster right now in the NBA to 7 games.
Yeah.
And they don't come close to doing that with Jokic. And I think equating that to value, it does. Like, what was the year where Embiid won it? Embiid had won it. I didn't think he was the most valuable player. I think it was just he was putting up the biggest numbers and like, we hasn't won one yet. Let's give it to him.
It just felt more trivial.
It feels more like best player on best team more than most valuable to their team.
Or sometimes, especially with the Embiid one, this guy has been putting up numbers for years, and he hasn't gotten one yet, so let's just throw one to him. That's how I felt with Embiid. I have personal beef with Embiid, because he stomped Mitchell Robinson's ankle last year.
No, I agree. I've always criticized the MVP award, primarily due to bias, because I think LeBron should have had many more MVPs than he was awarded. I think they stole it from him a couple of years, but we either need to rename this award or start awarding it according to its definition. Because, like you said, if it's about the most valuable player, as much as, how I feel about Denver and all of that, I think Jokic would be a really good choice there. Because me, I think I'm on the Taft side. I've never been an SGA believer. I know that's crazy to say. I don't know if I need to watch more ball, but I've never been an SGA believer. And so, even considering his team, he has a really fantastic team. And so I don't think he's, if we talk about the most valuable player, no, it's really the best player on the best team. That's what it's become. And so let's change it to whatever that would look like. But definitely change it because that's what they're doing. And so I have so many issues with the NBA. I don't even want to get into it. But yeah.
Same. 2 things. Yeah, like SGA. Yeah, he's a bucket getter. He'll go out there, he'll hit the shot. He can put up 30 a night for you, no problem. Just the only thing is, I guess we could talk all day about whether SGA should have gotten it or if somebody else should have got it, but, end of the day, he was one of the best players in the league this year, and he got the award. But in terms of the definition of the award, one thing we did in between the regular season and the playoffs of the NFL was we had our own little award show, and we added some of our own extra awards, and we had best player and most valuable player. And best player in the league this year very well could have been Jokic. I mean, this guy, didn't he put up like 50, 20, and 10 in the first round? And he was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And what Jokic does is just crazy. I used to kind of be bothered by Jokic because how much he didn't care. But I don't know. It's kind of sick. But if we're talking most valuable, like for example, I remember the conversation we had at the end of the regular season in the NFL was Josh Allen was clearly the most valuable to his team, I think. Because you take him off that team, they're a fringe playoff team, I think. But, yeah, I guess I'll ask y'all, who do you think, by definition, by most valuable, who do you think the most valuable player was?
It's hard. I have a couple of players in that head. Obviously, Jokic is in that hat. This may sound crazy to to you, but I have Jalen Brunson in that hat. I'm so sorry.
Well, that's not crazy at all.
I have Jalen Brunson in that hat.
Oh man,
I do.
Same. I just wasn't going to be the first one to say it because I knew.
No,
yeah, I knew you did not. I know it's hard.
It's hard, and a part of me even wanted to put Jason Tatum in that hat. And I know they have a team. They have Jalen Brown. But I think they are a completely different team when he's not on the floor. So, but I'll say my top 2 was probably those 2, Yoke and your guy, Jalen Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
I would. if we're going like value to team, this is gonna sound a little crazy because I was hating on this guy a little bit earlier in the year. But I was looking at it, and I know they got trounced by the Pacers in Game 1, but I think, I look at Jokic, I look at Giannis being incredibly valuable just because if you're talking about Milwaukee, small market, doesn't really attract a lot of big free agents generally, and Dame was mostly like either not playing up to what we were expecting or was hurt, and yet this team is still like 5 seed. Granted, it's in the I consider the weaker Eastern Conference, but without Giannis, that's a high lottery pick team, and I think if you're talking about, and he obviously has a couple MVPs already to his name, but I think he's one of the most valuable players in the league. I agree with Brunson as well. The difference is, to me, I think one thing that Brunson has is that a couple of guys don't is just a better overall roster, a better supporting cast, and that makes it very difficult to judge. Like, okay, this player does provide great value, but I think he'd still be up there. I think without Brunson, I think the Knicks lose a lot of their identity of who they are as a team because I think without how good Cat is, I think Cat is far better as a really good 2 than what he would be as a 1, which to me feels a little low end.
That's a good argument, and I actually really like the Giannis take because if Giannis actually walks like it looks like he will, that's going to be incredibly bad for Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure how they recover.
And they have picks, don't they?
Do they?
But I hate picks. I mean, picks are good for trading, as trading pieces. But yeah, they have picks, but I'm not sure if I trust that franchise.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been able to put much around Giannis. They brought in Dame. It seemed like they brought in Dame as he started falling off. He's sort of just perceived as, I mean, he's still Damian Lillard, but, not the same guy we knew. He's starting to be perceived as kind of washed. But yeah, I feel like, the Bucks, I don't know what happened, but it's funny. The Bucks and the Suns, I remember. Obviously, they met in the finals in, 2021. And I remember thinking, oh, these guys are going to be serious. Phil's a Suns fan, by the way, so he's in pain.
I'm so sorry. I had no idea. My condolences. I had no clue.
I bring those up every time we talk to Suns, Dr. G. I looked at their draft picks. I'm going to be 30 by the time we have a first-round pick.
It's awful.
I'm hitting the big 3-0.
I'm so sorry. I want to talk about your team later. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tav. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. No worries. I was about to start talking about the Suns and the Bucks because I just remember in 2021, I was thinking, oh, okay, yeah, these are like the new really good teams or teams we're going to be seeing outside of the first round at least. And the Bucks, was it last year or 2 years ago where they lost to the Heat as the number 1 seed, and then the Heat beat the Knicks, and then they went on. Oh, so it must have been 2 years ago because the Celtics won last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, ever since 2 years ago, for the past 3 years, it seems the Bucks have just been not. I just haven't really taken them seriously, and I love watching Giannis play, but yeah, they just haven't been around, man.
It's unfortunate. What do you all think is the best fit for Giannis? Because I think he's walking. I think there's no question. So what do you all think is the perfect fit for Giannis in his game?
The Rockets could be sick.
Yeah, I guess that's where my mind would be going. I just don't know. Because the thing is with Giannis is wherever he's going, it's really hard for me to not see him as the best player on the team. Like I don't think there are many places where he'd go where he's not the best guy. And I think honestly, when I heard Rockets, I was like thinking like, let me think of all the teams. I'm like, yeah, that's the only one that I think makes the most sense because it's the only team that has enough capital in terms of picks and players to go and get a guy like Giannis, and it's the only team that would trade for him and still have him be the main guy. If you can find a way, I think they would probably have to put Jalen Green in there. They'll probably put Jalen Green, maybe Alperen Sengun, but then like how much of that roster do you end up losing to where it's not enough of a supporting cast for Giannis to compete for a title?
Well, quick question. How many years does Giannis have left on his contract? Because
I want to say.
oh, he's got like
I don't
3. Man, I was hoping that this was like his contract year or something. Because if Giannis could just insert himself into that Rockets roster, oh my gosh. Could you believe that? I mean, watching them in the playoffs, I mean, it's unfortunate that they, as the higher seed, ended up losing to the Warriors. I feel like the Warriors do that to whoever they play in the first round every year. But, I mean, it really felt like they were that team. It kind of felt like, not to reference the Knicks again, it kind of felt like the Knicks a couple years ago when it's like, okay, they're here, you can insert a higher talent, and then they are there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they don't have a bona fide star on their team, but they were still able to be a top 3 seed in the West. So if you get a bona fide talent like Giannis in there at no cost to you other than the salary cap, like, put Giannis in there at the 4, Dylan Brooks at the 3, Jalen Green at the 2, Van Fleet at the 1. Oh my gosh. Şengün at the 5?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're one team that's truly one big piece away, like Giannis. Yeah, I think he's under contract. I just found out I think until the 26-27 season, so he has a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So they would have to trade.
Yeah, and you know, Giannis wants to go somewhere where he can win. They're contenders, and so I didn't know the answer. I just wanted to know y'all because I'm really struggling on where he could go and instantly be a contender because that's what he wants.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Lakers could work.
But the fit.
The fit might be
Like, if we're talking
atrocious.
about basketball fit.
It'll be ISO ball all game.
Yeah. That's the issue. Like that, there are no shooters around him. Like I just think it's a bad fit. If there have been rumors about the Lakers getting him, but I don't like it again. If so, it's just not a good formula.
The other option that intrigues me, and it really depends on how these playoffs go out, if OKC doesn't win the championship this year, and I think of the Final Four they're favored, I think they're also a team that could have enough package to maybe go and make a trade for him if they think that after another season with this roster that they're not going to be able to do it. Because they're already one of the best defensive teams in the league. To add Giannis to that in some way, I think you might have to give up one of your good defenders, like maybe maybe throw in a Caruso. I'm not sure that ends up being the case, but they'll have to put together, because I mean they're already stacked on picks, on players. If they were to add a player like Giannis, that's a scary defense.
If I'm the Bucks and the Thunder are shopping Giannis, I'm saying you got to put Chet Holmgren in on this deal. Or nothing's happening. Not only because I would want Chet Holmgren on my team as the Bucks, but can you imagine Giannis and Chet Holmgren next to each other? That
Hands
would
up.
be gross. I would not be able to handle that, man.
Oh my gosh! But the blocks, Taff. Think of the blocks.
Oh, yeah. The Western Conference Finals would be Spurs OKC every year. I mean, the Spurs they got to make some steps, but
It'd be the length. It'd be the length of Giannis and the length of Wemby.
and then you still have SGA on that
sea
team
of arms.
and Lou Dort. Oh my God, that would be awful. Amazing for Thunder fans. But another thing. I mean, only time will tell with this, but man, I can't wait to see Wemby in the playoffs. I want to watch Wemby in like meaningful games. In the NBA Finals, that just sounds fun.
That'll be so.
You know, for me, I think he still has something to prove. Because I watched him in the Olympics and he was cool. You know?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I need to see him in high pressure, high stakes, playoff basketball. So I'm excited to see it, but I just need to see if he's really that guy. I don't know why. I know he's naturally gifted. And obviously he can do a lot, but I agree. I want to see him because he needs to prove to me that he's that guy. I'm not going to say I've been a Wemby hater, but too many of my students have told me that Wemby was a better basketball player than Anthony Davis, and I wholeheartedly
Saw that
disagree
clip.
with that.
Yeah,
I wholeheartedly
you know, I think it's really hard to tell because I mean I've seen more Anthony Davis. I think I would pick Anthony Davis because like this kind of ties back into the NBA season being so damn long and Wemby never being in the playoffs. I feel like because in the end, like that 82 games, that's a marathon, man. You cannot go out there every night and give your all. You just can't. You're not going to last the whole way. So, and I see the crazy Wemby stats. I see the crazy highlights. Like, this guy, what was he averaging? 3.5 blocks per game, and he'll pull up and hit a three on the other end. It's, he's a freak of nature, but yeah, I guess time will tell because he hasn't played in meaningful games yet.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he won't be better than Anthony Davis. I just think Anthony Davis is more skilled than Wemby. Wemby he has a lot of natural gifts. But when it comes to skill, I think Anthony Davis is so much better, and so that's kind of why I've been hating on him due to those comparisons. But I think Wemby, obviously, he has the potential to be great. So I want to see him in those high-pressure situations to prove that he's that guy. But y'all keep talking about how y'all think the season is too long, 82 games, and I agree. But how many games are we talking? Are we talking about a 65-game season? Are we talking about a 70?
Money makes the world go round, so I don't think we'll ever see the season get shortened. I really hope we do. If I could have it any way at all, I would say start on Christmas. I think part of the reason the NFL gets so much viewership is because it's organized. You know what day and what time the games are going to be. And I think it should start on Christmas, the NBA season, have 58 games. You play every team twice, once at home and once away. And whether you have the conferences or not, I would have to look into it on a deeper level, but you could even have a 1 versus 16 seeding, and with the travel and stuff, that could be grueling. If you play, you're playing every team once, so is that true of NBA teams right now in the NBA season? Do some teams not play each other? Or does everybody play each other at least once?
I think everyone plays at least twice as of right now, minimum. Because you probably play your division rival at least 3. You probably play everybody in. Is it everybody in your division 4 times, everyone in your conference 3 times, and then everyone from the other conference twice? That might be too much. But I know if it's the other conference, it's 1 home, 1 away, so that's 30. And then the other 52 come from each of those 4. I think that might be right. I think it's. I'm gonna look. I have the computer. Why am I not looking this up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. It sounds right.
Yeah. Well, I think bottom line is it's a whole lot of games, man. And also you have load management. This wasn't a huge deal, but for example, a couple years ago, Phil and I went to a Knicks-Suns game when the Suns were the team to beat. And the Knicks were running their whole team through Derrick Rose and Julius Randle. And we get there, and I wasn't super crushed by this, but we get there and we find out Derrick Rose isn't playing that night. Knicks lose by 20.
Wow.
And load management, it's just, I think it's obviously these players are humans too, and when you have 82 games, you need to rest. But then you have the fans that you're selling the tickets to. But they won't shorten the season because they enjoy selling their tickets so much. It's a whole thing. I would love to be able to fix that, but I don't know how it would get fixed.
The other thing that's interesting about the 82-game season, at least, is and this maybe again, genetics are different. Players have different ways of training. But how is it that a genetic specimen? 'Cause, I love Kawhi. I've always loved Kawhi. He's just a funny he's just a chill dude. And for whatever reason, Kawhi is sitting out game management half the season. Meanwhile, how old is Chris Paul? Because he's 36 going on.
Chris Paul works his ass off, man.
And he's starting for the Spurs. He's not maybe at the same level that he once was, but starting all 82 games for the Spurs this year, and played every game. And Mikal Bridges, another Iron Man in the league. So it's tough to make that claim that load management sucks, but there are other players that are doing it. It's just I do agree that it needs to be shortened, but it's do you like that's like I got players taking off almost half the season. So at a certain point, it's I don't know.
Yeah, we were missing Kawhi for damn near 2 years at one point. Like,
That's what it felt like, and we finally got a little bit of what I thought. Kawhi was back. Kawhi looked good in that series for the most part. I was like, oh, where was this? Where was this the whole time?
for real, man. I want to see playoff Kawhi again because it was such a treat. Like, I didn't even watch the game because, to be honest, I didn't even know Kawhi was playing. I thought he was just going to be... And then I hear he drops 38 in game 1, and I'm tuning in again. But yeah, I don't know. Load management's a whole thing. But, Dr. G, how many games, like, because you were asking us, like 70, 60, 65. Like, how many games would you put in the season if it were up to you?
Ideally, I like 65. I like the number 65. I don't really know when they start the season, but I do like the idea that you were talking about how the NFL is successful partly because it's structured. You're getting football on Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays. Whereas the NBA, there's just so much going on. There's only so many games being played on TV. It's just a lot happening. And so I like 65. I do. I think 65 is a great number. And we have to realize these are professional athletes. This is what they do. They play during a season and they are in Cancun the others. And so we need to hold them accountable to show up to work. That's why I don't like Kawhi. He doesn't show up to work. I'm sorry. He can't be missing for 2 years without legitimate claims. Okay, so I think we need to hold these athletes accountable. This is their life. This is their job. You got to show up to work. The way I show up to work, the way you're going to show up to work. These athletes need to show up to work because they make too much money to sit out half of the season because they have a little ankle sprain. My ankle is sprained now, and I'm going to the gym. I know it's different, but they have to show up to work. I think it's unacceptable. Kawhi Leonard is unacceptable. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Ben Simmons, too. Like, man, yeah. I was walking out of the bathroom last night. I hit my knee on the door really hard. I still went to the grocery store today.
Exactly.
Joel Embiid. I'm sorry. It's just...
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Ben Simmons. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that might be a little different. I don't know if there's... I don't know, he's honestly, we could have a whole episode dedicated to just looking into Ben Simmons. But yeah, 65 is cool. Also, I mean, one thing that I might do just for fun, I kind of want to write up a theoretical NBA schedule that could work, because one point I didn't get into, because you brought back up the structure of the NFL, and also the reason that we get so hyped about the NFL games is because each game, that's 1/17th of the season compared to 1/82nd of an NBA season. Which is why, like I was mentioning earlier, like I can't really get super... I mean, a couple years ago, when I was working at this sports book, and literally my job was to basically count money and take people's sports bets and watch sports, it was great. But yeah, so during that time, I was watching the Knicks, and I was getting into it as much as I could. Or, like, just watching everybody, all the sports. But, yeah, like, now I'm not gonna watch the Knicks' 17th game of the season, So, like, I want to, like, because, like, if we could set up, like, NBA Fridays, and we have a game at 4, a game at 6, a game at 8, or maybe 2 games in each of those time slots or something. Or 3, 4, however many it takes to make the math work, not have the season be overly long, or whatever. I think that would be immaculate. But yeah.
Also, I understand West Coast, East Coast. I understand the coastal challenges. But we need to abolish 10:30 p.m. start times. 10:30 p.m. start times are absolutely absurd.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing?
That's a fact.
I understand in La La Land, people are getting off of work. Can we start at like 6 p.m. Western Conference time or Pacific Standard Time, please?
For real. They're like, why?
Because I fight for my life. I fight for my life trying to stay up for Lakers games, and I have to get up and teach. I have to get up at 6 a.m. to teach. It's awful.
Yeah, that's not sustainable. That's just... Because, yeah, man, I'm a night owl, but I swear, whenever I am, Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right with it being 12:45 in the morning, and I swear, for the longest, the only nationally televised Western Conference game would be Lakers Nuggets. And this is actually part of why I was hating on Nikola Jokic 2 years ago, because AD would play 23.9 seconds of perfect defense, and Jokic would just go soccer throw in for him. Nailed it.
That was amazing. He did that against Chad. It was so funny.
And and it just doesn't feel right, man. Like national TV regular season, 182nd of their season. Nuggets are up 20 at 12:45 a.m. Eastern time. Like it's yeah, they got to start at 6 p.m. Western time at that feels like a good ultimatum.
Yes, if you're going to the game, leave work 30 minutes early at 4:30. Get to crypto by 5:36. That's how I feel. Philip, how do you feel? Because you're also a Western Conference guy.
Indeed.
Yeah. There was a series this year, actually, that I was like... Because this was right around, I believe, either just before or just after Luka got traded. And I was like, maybe we have a shot at the 8th seed because the Mavs won't have Luka. And we had a series against Portland. And I think we only split the series. We really needed to win both games, and we lost one. And I was sitting there like, how is it that, because when we did the Dame trade, we got most of that Trailblazers roster anyway. Like, we got Grayson Allen and Yusuf Nurkic. Nurkic was just a strict downgrade from DeAndre and on all accounts. And watching that game, I was like, it's like 1 a.m. Why are you making me watch this, man? Like, if it was 10:30, I could handle it a little better. But I just watched Bradley Beal break his fifth straight three-pointer, and I'm sitting here like, I ruined my sleep schedule to watch this. Like, can't. Anyway, yeah, they got to change it. They got to move these games early. I can't do it.
We gotta send this over to Adam Silver. Like, he could take a lot from this. But all right, we got in 1 hour, less than an hour, 50 minutes. Knicks-Pacers game 1. Knicks versus Hicks, man.
Hold on, I gotta grab my.
Oh, what are you grabbing? Oh, I think he's grabbing his Mikal Bridges jersey. He's representing.
Wow.
My boy. That's my boy. That's my boy right there. Let's go.
Yeah, I would.
That's my boy.
I would throw on the
That's my
Kevin Knox
boy.
jersey. I don't know where it's at right now, but man, let's go. I'm hyped.
I'm gonna wear it backwards so you can read
Hell
the
yeah.
name. T.
All
Glass was my favorite bridge. Is it Brooklyn? Is it the Golden Gate? No, it's Mikal. It's Mikal Bridges.
Now, Phil, who are you rooting for tonight, man? Because you've been, I remember after game 1, you were like, "Oh, it's one game. Just wait till y'all lose in 5 against the Celtics."
Look, man. I will say this. I think tonight. Well, because here's the thing. We also made a side bet. Like, if I'm looking at it from the strict benefit of the side bet, I might be rooting for Indiana tonight. Because I think the winner of tonight's game does win the whole series. I think the game series will still go to like 7 or longer. I kind of do. The winner of game 1 is going to end up winning the whole series. That's my little prediction because I think it's going to be a huge tempo setter. I think when you look at these teams, when they came out and they won their game 1s in their previous series, they set the tone. Indiana set the tone against Milwaukee. They set the tone against Cleveland. And I'm not saying they win tonight. I think it's still New York, and ultimately, I do think New York wins the series. But if Indiana comes in and stuns New York in MSG with all the hype that is surrounding New York going into this series, leading up to it, there's a chance that it's crushing. And I think we talked about it yesterday. Indiana is a physical team. They're being doubted. I think 100% they're being doubted by the league. I think they have especially something to prove because last year's Eastern Conference Finals went about as bad as it could. They want to come out and they want to make sure that does not happen again. I think this will be this will be an amazing game one. I hope at least it's an amazing game one. I think it will be. I still think New York takes it.
And Dr. G, what do you think? Who you rooting for? What's your general outlook?
I am rooting for the New York Knicks. I think it's Knicks in 6 at the latest. Now, the whole thing, here's the thing. I've never been a Tyrese Halliburton fan. Never. Because I thought that when he was playing well, I don't know if it was last season or the season before that, I thought that was just a moment, okay, a moment in time that would pass. But this last series, he really was trying to prove something. I think in these playoffs, he's been really trying to prove something. However, I still don't believe him. I think it's Knicks in 6. I think the Knicks win regardless. Only because I would halfway agree with you, Philip. But because the Knicks beat Boston the way they did, they went through a lot of adversity and they were able to come back and do things like that. I think that proved to me that even if Indiana does go in there and still win tonight, I think they still have the experience in these playoffs to still be able to go in Indiana and win a couple of games. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Knicks take it. But like I said, they've really been doubted all playoffs. But I'm just not a believer. I'm not sold. And I want Knicks in 6 because I'll be in New York next week. So I'm hoping for, to try to score some last minute tickets as well. So that's that.
Fair.
Heck yeah. Yeah, Phil and I have had some pretty similar conversations about Tyrese Halliburton because apparently I had no idea, but NBA players league-wide, Tyrese Halliburton's own colleagues voted Tyrese Halliburton as the most overrated guy in the league, which is wild to me.
Nuts.
And especially after last year, just this is my Knicks fan perspective coming in. After last year when Brunson went down, Hart went down, Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson all went down. The side bet we have, basically, is if the Pacers win this series, I can't make that excuse about last year's series anymore. And every time I mention that, I owe him $1. But if the Knicks win, he owes me $10. So we're rooting for the Knicks. But with Halliburton,
So badly.
it's like I want to respect my opponent. I feel like with the Celtics, those Celtics fans, they were getting so arrogant. They were like, oh yeah, Celtics in 4, Celtics in 5. Then when they were down 2-0, you had the radio hacks being like, I'm still not taking them seriously. It's still Celtics in 6. Whatever. I feel like you got to acknowledge the talent on the other side for sportsmanship and karma's sake. But, oh my God, after last year's series, I want to come into this series and just remind them who we are, because they got to play against the practice squad last year.
Yeah.
But Tyrese Halliburton is really good. This guy, I can't remember if it was game 2 or 3. I think it was game 2 of the Pacers-Cavs series. And I had the game up and I was in Discord, I was streaming the game, we were watching it, and the score was 119-112 Cavs with 40 seconds left in the game. I had stopped watching. I look back, no, I didn't even look back. I got a notification on my phone, final score Pacers 120, Cavs 119. Pretty sure that was game 2 or game 3. And Tyrese Halliburton, he had his own little Tracy McGrady moment doing all that. And I don't know, it's weird. I got a love-hate relationship with the Pacers because, I don't know, I respect them, but the Knicks, they got to win this. Because, but the reason I respect the Pacers, they got TJ McConnell. I love a pesky, hustling, 6-man, role-playing point guard. Obi Toppin. Not gonna lie, I kind of have beef with Obi Toppin just because he's, better now that he's on the Pacers. And, I don't know. But, yeah, it should be a good series. I got the Knicks in 6. Or maybe even 7, but I'm hoping 6.
You're really respecting your opponent. I almost said Knicks in 5. I don't know. But I want to go with Knicks in 6 because it sounds great, and I think that allows me to respect the opponent.
And it's been Knicks and 6 all playoffs, man. Pistons,
Yeah.
Celtics.
That's going to be
Got a
the
ring to
trend.
it.
It was the other thing that I think about Tyrese Halliburton that I think is part of the reason he's overrated. There was another player, because the other two that were like right behind him, one was Rudy Gobert, the other was Trae Young. And for some reason, he reminds me a lot of Trae Young in that facet of, like, especially last year, made the Eastern Conference Finals, but both high-end point guards. They kind of got whooped in that finals. And then the difference was with Trae, he never got close again. Never got close to touching it. Now it's Halliburton's back there. I think there's a little bit of that gets knocked off. I would think from players overall, just as like I don't know. Maybe they'll vote him even more overrated. Maybe if he loses this finals and they say he's, but
To me,
it's interesting, you know.
yeah, with the Halliburton and Trae Young comparison, the only thing I really see with that is I think their willingness to be the villain a bit obnoxious. Because like this is a conversation that Phil and I had. It was pretty damn funny. I was like, dude, I just hate Tyrese Halliburton. He's so obnoxious. He's like always like doing some like dumb dance. And Phil was like, dude, that's you. And
You're always doing some dumb dance, dude.
and yeah, but Tyrese Halliburton, I feel like he does I feel like the Knicks, we keep Trae Young relevant now, but the Tyrese Halliburton, yeah, he's got the willingness to be the villain. I think it's gonna be a fun series. I hope that, I don't know, Knicks and 6 all the way.
I agree. I 100%. I just think New York is the better team. I think they're the better team. I think it's clear that they're the better team. I just need the Knicks to not nick.
Yeah.
Tell your Knicks, do not nick.
Do not nick it up. Oh, I don't know if I screenshotted it or not. Another green flag for the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns matching up against Miles Turner. Last year in the playoffs and this regular season. Last year in the playoffs, he matched up against Miles Turner, averaged like 32 points, 12 boards, and something else. 32 and 12. And then in this regular season, it was like 30, 10, and 6. So I'm hoping Cat can bully Miles Turner and we can get to the finals. It feels surreal, man.
Sounds like bully ball to me, for sure. For sure. Sounds like the pain is sweet in Indiana, so absolutely feed them. I'm really hoping. And I think y'all just have the pieces, man. Y'all think y'all have the pieces. Well, I think y'all want to win the whole thing. That's tough to say, but I think that y'all get past this round.
Indeed, I'm trying not to look too far forward, you know. Like but when I think about it, we were talking about this last night. We're at an hour and 12 minutes, so we'll wrap this up in about 5 minutes or so. But like the matchup that I want the most, which after watching last night's game between Minnesota and OKC, I don't know. We'll have to see. It seemed like OKC pulled away at the end. Ant was hurt for a while, but OKC ended up winning by 20. I do not want to see OKC in the finals, man, because they are just they're just damn good, man. Hartenstein, Holmgren, they have length. SGA, like, yeah, they're just really good. And I think the headlines of a Timberwolves Knicks finals would just be great because you have the teams that made the trade that nobody really knew how to feel about when it first happened, meeting in the finals. But yeah.
Great for the plot. I think it will be great. That's what I want to see. I don't think we're going to see it. I think OKC will take care of Minnesota, unfortunately. But I want to see OKC Minnesota for the plot. And I want to know, Taff, I know we have to wrap up, but do you have beef with Julius Randle? Because I know you said you had beef with another player because they became magically better all of a sudden. Because I went to a Knicks game and I saw Julius Randle play on the Knicks, and I said, this guy is awful. I have a whole YouTube reel talking about how trash Julius Randle is.
Oh my God.
Now that he's in Minnesota, he's looking like prime Charles Barkley.
Dr.
I don't know what's
I'm so glad you asked. Because last night, we were watching this game, and it's kind of like what I've been saying. It's kind of how I feel about the Pacers. It's like, yeah, I'm respecting them, but I hope we destroy them. Like, man, with Julius Randle, I was like, it was bittersweet. He was the longest tenured Knick when we got rid of him. It was like, Cat felt like a change in identity from the grit we had, but I did not like watching Julius Randle. Because it feels like Julius Randle's whole playstyle, it only is allowed to exist because of analytics. Because it'll be like, let me take this contested three on the right wing that is not fundamentally good basketball, but it goes in 39% of the time, so coach lets me shoot it. And I just remember there was this line last night, like 2 minutes before this happened, I was like, oh man, I'm happy for Julius Randle. He's really learning to perform in the playoffs. And then he had a guy wide open on the wing, and instead of hitting him, he spins right into a charge. And I'm like, classic Julius Randle. Here he goes. Like, glad we got rid of him.
The switch up was crazy.
For real. And I mean, I want to see Julius Randle beat OKC because it would be a crazy series to watch. I feel like even if the Knicks ended up losing that series, which I do feel like the Knicks are the better team on paper compared to the Timberwolves, I feel like we would win that series. But even if we didn't win a series against the Timberwolves, I think it would be kind of cool seeing Randle and DiVincenzo get a championship.
Yeah, I just really want to know from your opinion because, as a LeBron fan, watching him cook the Lakers was absolutely ridiculous because I'm like, wait a minute, this guy was trash last season. So, so I was just curious.
Yeah. Julius Randle's a fascinating player to me because you remember seeing him at Kentucky in college, right?
Yeah.
If you told me that he would play kind of like great value LeBron 10 years later, I wouldn't believe you at all. He was kind of like a hard-nosed, he reminded me more of Zach Randolph than a point forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, Julius Randle's an interesting player.
Yeah, I still don't like him. I just, I want to know from a Knicks fan's perspective because you've seen him this season play a lot better than he's played, at least in my opinion, than on the Knicks. The switch up was just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I mean with his playoff performances, my friend Gabe, he's also a Knicks fan. He was telling me that statistically, on the Knicks, Julius Randle was the worst playoff performer ever to average over 20 points per game. It was using one of those weird, efficiency analytics stats that, to be honest, I don't really know how they actually work. But, in terms of, plus minus and PER or whatever, he was the worst playoff performer ever with over 20 points per game in the playoffs. And, yeah, then we see him nailing threes against the Warriors, having Steph Curry looking puzzled on the bench. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of fun, though.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I was gonna say one quick thing about as much as I do want to see Timberwolves and Knicks just because I think the headlines are definitely there for it. Oh, that second half was brutal against OKC. They did everything. They did everything right in the first half. You told me, oh, Ant's gonna be out for a little bit. I'd be like, oh, yep, they're probably gonna pull away. But Julius Randle was hitting threes. Julius Randle was playing really well in that first half. And I checked, I have my monitor here and I have my monitor playing the game. I would look back every couple minutes. I'm like, oh, OKC's up 5. Oh, they're up 8. Oh, they're up 12. Oh, they're up 15. Oh, it's over. And it's it happens in 5 or 6 minutes. It's so absurd to just watch them pull away from teams. Ugh. It's going to be a rough series, I think, for the Timberwolves going forward.
I mean, how long was Anthony Edwards out for last night?
He was only out for maybe 5. I think he was out for half a quarter.
Oh, dang. I was hoping that it was going to be longer than that, so the Timberwolves had a valid excuse.
Well, I mean, even then, I felt like they picked up the slack when he wasn't playing, which was, I think even then, you did everything you were supposed to do, and it's just That's rough.
Yeah. All right, before we head out, I want to hear your predictions. I know we've got Knicks in 6. I think I've got OKC in 5. So what do y'all have on each of the conference championships?
I think OKC is 6 at the most. At the most, I don't think it's going to go more than 6. Part of me wants to say 5, but I'm trying to respect Minnesota partly because they beat the Lakers.
Mhm.
So I'll say in 5 or 6. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a sweep. I will say that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a sweep.
Yeah.
I've been feeling 5. I mean, that's because the reason why is just because I feel like the way they were playing against both with the teams that Minnesota faced, bringing this back to something I talked about yesterday. Golden State was down obviously to Steph Curry, but also with the way the Lakers are kind of built, it just felt like Minnesota was going to be a little bit of a mismatch ultimately there. And while they've been playing well, like I'll give them their credit, Minnesota's been playing well. It's not good enough. It's not good enough against the best team the best roster, the best team in the league. It's just not going to be enough, and I think they go down 5. I think they will get a win though. I think they'll pick up a win, probably game 4 actually, because I think OKC goes up 3-0. They'll pick up the win game 4, and then game 5 is the closeout.
And they'll get
in
that
OKC.
that pride win.
Yeah, look at that pride win. That's my guess.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for coming on, Dr. G.
Yeah, thank you. It's been
having me.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and oh my gosh. Wait, I was just about to say I totally forgot. People in the chat, check out STHM Pod on YouTube. I'm gonna put it in the description. I'm gonna put the link down there.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. Yeah, I'm on the SCHM podcast. We have a couple of different shows, but I'm on the one with the sports with the girlies for the girlies. But we have one about basketball, football, and things like that. So yeah, feel free to check it out. But I had a blast. You all have so much energy, and I love it. It's such great energy. It's great for podcasting. You know, I already knew of Taft's energy, but Philip, you have great energy. You give me like sports announcer vibes on the sideline. Like that's the vibes you give me. Ready to go with your sayings, and so you all are both very knowledgeable. And this is a great pod. I know you all want to could continue to be great. Invite me back on whenever you want to invite me back on. I'm always down to talk about the Lakers, whether it's in season, out of season. But yeah, you all are doing great things. This is really fun.
Heck yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a
That
blast
was
having
awesome.
you on, and we will definitely invite you back on. And yeah,
Good stuff.
heck yeah, go Knicks.
Go Mikal Bridges!
Alrighty,
Putting
and
it
thank you
on.
for watching, people.